So, Sultai Control. This is one of the decks that we had tried very early on in the format that felt somewhat reasonable. I'm interested to see if this one has aged like milk, or if it's gonna be something more on the reasonable side still. This is one of the decks that's up on my website, so if it ends up being kind of poor, we'll probably take it down from there. I have some hope for this archetype in general because we do have counter spells like Intervention and Disdainful Stroke here, as well as discard spells that kind of help us hopefully punch through some of that incredible value that these Yorion decks put up. So let's dive on into some match with this and see how it goes. See if this is capable of winning some games of Magic or not. Goes through the log. I definitely just forgot to check all the bit updates from yesterday, Fox. I'll make sure that gets added. Thanks for the poke. Whoa. My opponent doesn't have a companion, and I don't have a companion, so I assume that just means the game's going to end in a draw, right? Agent of Treachery, yep. This is not about to be an easy game, huh? I think I take Tamiyo. Kind of surprised based on their hand that they're not playing Yorion. Like, looking at their hand, it looks like they want... It looks like they'd want Yorion. If we take the Reef, there's a good chance they're not playing on curve. But I'm not an aggro deck. I'm not going to kill them before I prevent them from curving out. This game is going to last to a point where they cast all of these cards. It is very important that I try to take the cards that are actually going to beat me as opposed to trying to be cute and disrupting their curve. Well... They're probably a Hydroid Crisis deck, which probably means I want Ritual of Soot. Definitely want my Strokes and my Gust. I probably want this. They're almost assuredly an Uro deck. Also good against Crisis. Let's trim around the edges here, basically. You're curious as to why I'm trimming Heartless X. I'm curious as to what you would cut from my deck to put Heartless back in. Why do you think Heartless Act is good, and which card do you think in my deck is worse than Heartless Act? Hand's very good. We'll get to hit our first 4 lands in my 27 land deck, so that's nice. Yeah, when you look at my opponent's stuff, a lot of their cards generate value when they come into play. So rather than trying to 1-for-1 them after they've gotten to play or killing them after they've gotten to play, you're not 1-for-1ing them, right? You're just like getting behind. It's a very good draw. Let's just tag this Risen Reef before it does anything. I think I'm gonna bin that even though I need second green eventually. We'll hopefully be able to, So, without the intention of actuallying you, but just to educate, when we use jargon like fast mana with regards to Magic, fast mana refers to cards like Lotus Petal or Mox Opal or stuff like that. Things like Reclamation and Fires are probably more aptly described as big mana, things that allow you to have lots of mana sooner than you would otherwise have. Fast mana in Magic generally refers to things that give you extra mana on the very first turn of the game. City of Traders, Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal. Most fast mana is restricted to older formats, like Legacy and Vintage. Mana doublers, yeah. A doubler I'd be more comparable to big mana. So they topped something here. As much as I want a Ritual of Soot this board, I think it's important that I hold up Disdainful Stroke here. Hopefully this isn't Hydroid Crisis. Perfect. So now I get to do this, and then I get to Ritual clear this board, and then we're in a pretty good spot. I have Narset, Eat left over, and I have Uro in my bin. So I can actually escape Uro next turn too if I wanted. If they don't draw Crisis exactly this turn, Narset locks them out of it. So, this is actually a good example of why I think Eat to Extinction is much better than Heartless Act. Eat to Extinction not only deals with their Planeswalkers, if they have them like Nissa, but exiling Cavalier or Uro is a really big deal in a matchup like this. I think it's actually very, very correct to leave Eat to Extinction in. Yeah, the fact that Cav didn't draw Uro there is huge for us, agree. Would ramp be a form of fast mana? No, ramp is more comparable to big mana. Again, from my understanding of the jargon, the differential between fast mana and big mana type decks is fast mana happens on the very first turn of the game. Fast mana gives you 2 mana on turn 1. I don't know that I agree that we're strictly in garbage time here. If they play like Nissa this turn, we could be in trouble. I agree that we're ahead, but I don't think my opponent is just done this game. Soul Ring, sure. Yeah, exactly. Dark Ritual tends to be in line with fast mana. Because it gives you extra mana on that very first turn.
Meditate and prepare.
All it takes is an agent off the top. Alright, listen. You're gonna have to take your 10-minute break like a champ for putting this bad mojo on us. This is your fault. This is your fault, Heliderpy. You did this to us. I mean, Agent taking Narset lets Teferi bounce this, right? and draw a card. Like, Teferi is going to bounce it regardless, but it lets them draw a card here, which is a big deal. Okay, they drew a brick. That's good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I get to make a 6/6. That's a great draw. Okay. All right, now I think we're into garbage time at this point. Now I think we're into garbage time at this point. They have 3 available, so counter less X is 2. I think it's important that I use the Thassa's intervention before they draw to a point where this can no longer counterspell stuff. Narset's a great draw because Narset cuts them off of Uro and Hydrate Crisis as cards to get them back into the game.
If you wish to hone your prowess.
Because I have a second intervention to draw cards with, I also don't really need to draw cards on this board, right? Like, why do I need to draw cards when, like, the best thing I could have in my hand right now is a counterspell? It's actually very possible that with the what's it called decks in this format, the Yorion decks that I just want 4 Stroke in my 75. I think Disdainful Stroke is one of the best cards you can have in the Yorion matchup. That's very, very good. If you can keep Teferi off the table, Disdainful Stroke's one of the best possible things you can be doing. I think I'm happy with how we boarded. Is Stroke editing Uro a big deal against the Bant Yorion decks? I mean, like, does it, like, do you wish it could hit Uro? I'm not sure how to digest that question. Like, what is your goal, or what are you trying to ask with that question? So, like, why is bringing that up relevant? Are you trying to say you disagree with the assessment that Stroke's one of your best cards in that matchup because it doesn't hit Uro? Is like that what you're getting at? I'm not really sure how to engage with your point. Want to lead on Agonizing Remorse here, because if they have Uro, I want to exile it. If we just take Teferi here and then plan to Stroke this. Well, that's perfect. So they decided to wait, so now I get to Thought Erasure them and take this, and then I get to Stroke their next play. Do the math for mana source and decide casualties wasn't castable in this deck. Do not consider that a card because you're the preferred things. I think that's just too much mana. I think the card advantage that you generate from something like Casualties doesn't keep up with the things that those other Fires decks are doing, and attacking them with counter spells like Disdainful Stroke is the better access to fight those matchups on. So basically, I'd rather be stroking them than Casualties of Warring them. Their cards generate so much value when they come into play. In order to be winning, you need to just stop them from getting onto the battlefield. You can't be killing them after they hit play. It's my experience. Make it a reasonable consideration to play Dispute instead. No, I think those games go so long, and when Fires is out, the fact that when Fires is out, Disdainful Stroke still counters their payoffs, and Dispute doesn't, is a really big deal in my opinion. You can't stroke your opponent right now because you can't get within 6 feet of them. Fair assessment. Alright, and kind of seeing our game plan work out here a little bit, right? Like, obviously, don't want to count our chickens too much beforehand, but, you know, everything's lining up kind of how we want it to. We have our counter spells here. Like I said, might just want max strokes in the 75. I get to go ahead and I think I actually Narset before I Uro here. I guess I haven't seen Krasis out of them yet. All right, I'm going to Uro first. If we Uro first and they Hydrate Krasis us next turn, I get punished for not Narsetting aggressively. But I think getting Uro out and drawing cards first is ideal. And I could Narset here this turn as well, but if I Narset and then they untap and agent me, I'd like lose on the spot, so I don't want to take that risk. Any thoughts on the cycling counterspell? You know, that's a good thought. It's possible that... How many basics are in my deck here? Sorry. Do I have a 7th basic? I don't have a 7th basic. Okay, so this Fabled Passage is just a blank. It's possible that my Thassa's intervention should be split with some Neutralizes. Let's try that after this match. Giving thought to how important having actual counterspells is in this format. I think I like the idea of splitting that. I like the idea a lot, actually. I like it a lot. Any cost, chat. At any cost. Your life total is a resource, use it. And this is, the discard spells here really highlight a nice squeeze that we get to put them in, right? Like, if they hold their threats, we get them with discard spells like this. If they jam their threats, we can catch them with counter spells. Essence Scatter's good. Yeah, I could see that too. And again, like, at a glance, game one, this seemed really hard for us, right? Like, they just had so much value. But our counter spells and discard spells combined, we're able to keep them off of that. It's okay, Derpy. Let's try some Neutralize. I didn't think about that one. I definitely should have. I like that. I like that idea a lot, actually. Do you even want to play 3 of these? Does Thassa's Intervention have diminishing returns in these Fires matchups? So I'd rather have just more counterspells that just like cycle like that. Do I need Disfigure in my sideboard if I have 4 Cries? Can maybe trim some of these. Maybe 2 Shark Typhoons is plenty. Let's try that split for now. I kind of want another stroke in my 75. Here's another question too. Is Return to Nature better than just having more trophies? This can exile cards from graveyards, which is like non-zero amount of value. Yeah, Disfigure is good against the cycling decks. I guess it's really a small window where they have. I have a couple of riders in here too. What graveyard decks do I need to hate out of the format is a real question. Yeah, it's like just Cat, right? And I've got a bunch of Cries for that. I'll leave 1 Disfigure in there. Let's do this. Try some Neutralizes, get a 4th stroke in the board. Alright, feed me Yorion, Seymour. Feed me, Seymour. Your finest helping of Yorion, please. Luris, alright. Well, I get to see our cycling matchup here. See how those Unmoored Egos feel. We'll scry looking for some more lands on 1. I think I need to bottom this, because ideally I want an untapped land on 3. Cycling the only Luris deck left. No, they could be the Aristocrats variation too. Cycling got 2nd in the Magic Fest this past weekend though, so the ladder's been mostly cycling decks for Luris today, but they could be an Aristocrats deck. Perfect. You love to see it. Alright, so if they don't go land Fox, this Narset's gonna be insane. Rats. Actually, I guess I still do this, right? I just, like, leave it at 5 and say go.
Practiced against many foes like you.
Just, like, actually just here as a prison card. Yeah, they can toss cards for 1/1 counters if they want. It's a legal play. Gobble, gobble. Not looking for a Neutralize. I think Spell Pierce should be an evergreen card in Standard. No.
Reckless and ill-defined.
How greedy is it to cycle to use Narset here to try and hit Ritual of Soot. I have 3 of them. I could just eat this again. If I hit Ritual, I get pretty close to, like, can't lose territory.
Meditate and prepare.
Greed, for lack of a better term, is good. Oh, you know what? I should have, yeah, worth noting we bought him to second Ritual. I should have fetched with this before we drew here. Which is nice. And actually, I'm gonna get to do this, and I'm gonna go land, escape this, right? Never forget, chat, Magic is a skill-based game with very low variance. The person that makes the least mistakes generally wins. And if you'll buy that, I've got some oceanfront property in Arizona. From my front porch, you can see the sea. Do 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 do. Don't give me hope that there's a good control like in this format. Okay, here's a real question, chat. And I hate that I have to ask it. I absolutely hate that I have to say these words. Is my deck supposed to be playing Yorion? Am I supposed to be plus 20 cards? Am I supposed to just be plus 20 cards and play Yorion? That's probably correct, right? Like, if you look at my deck, I have a bunch of 2s and 3s. I can probably get to 80 cards just by playing all 4 ofs.
Welcome to my domain.
Like, look at my deck. Okay, so we play 4 Sharks, we play 4 Rituals, we play 4 Narset, 4 Neutralize, a 4th Remorse, some more Heartless Acts, add some more lands. So, like, we round all the spells up to 4 ofs, we put the mana base up to 80 cards to match. Like, we're gonna do that after this game. After this match is done, we're gonna do that. Pretty sure that's probably correct to do. Yeah, you could just play a couple of Omen of the Sea because they get value with Yorion. Does it give you any other 8th card in your hand? I mean, it's a pretty sweet 8th card. Alright, so I'm gonna cut the Agonizing Remorses. What am I trimming here? I think it's probably Neutralize out. I want all my sweepers. Trim a Shark Typhoon. What do you think of this plan? I like leaving in some of the discard spells because I want to tag Zenith Flare to stop that from killing me. And the Shuffler seems to always give your aid what it wants, so there's that. All right, let's grind into some lands, huh? Here's a real question, chat. Real question that I don't know the answer to and I'd like to talk about. What is the appropriate deck size adjustment to not make Yorion be just incredibly busted? How many cards did it actually need to add to your deck to make it not just be straight value. It's probably somewhere in the 30 to 40 range, right? It's probably, I feel, my gut says 40. My gut says 40. I feel like I'm about there. Alright, so we're gonna add this dog to our trophy case here in a minute. $15 times the number of sets legal and standard. Love it. Love it. 15 cards times the number, some number times the number of sets legal in your format. Actually, Jeff, foxes are not dogs. Spread the gospel. Y'all give me stress. Y'all give me stress, okay? We're all arboreal biologists. Sorry, Jeff. Well, so the trick this game is that we need to get to a point where we're not in danger of dying to Zenith Flare. So we're controlling the board here, but Zenith Flare is a real concern. So I get to Ritual of Soot here. And I get to play this out. And then hopefully Narset can find us a Thought Erasure. Or we can find an Uro somehow and start gaining some life. Yes, Yorion is definitely a card that will be worse post-rotation. Almost, oh, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Well, will 100% be worse post-rotation in a shallower card pool. Alright, so we're dead to another Zenith Flare, chat. Which is what I said was gonna happen. Because I have to kill this, and if I kill this, it makes their next Zenith Flare lethal. So we're dead either way here, basically, if they have a second flare. And they're through 22 cards, so good chance they have another flare. Yep, and again, like, I talked about that being a risk when we're playing this matchup. I think I'm actually gonna cut these Shark Typhoons and leave in a couple of Neutralizes. I needed to find a discard spell before we got to that board state, or an Uro to get our life total high enough. Yeah, Uro or discard spell is what we needed there. So we checked their creatures. Hey, Snap Beats. Thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. If you're having a good one wherever you are. I guess I assume this will just be one of those games where I never see a third land in my 27 land deck, but the spells are good, so let's just like hope. We find a blue source and we get to cast Eat to Extinction. Eat can put an extra card in our bin to help us escape the Uro. Although I guess Swamp with Uro is also a scotch awkward. No, of course not, Son of Sam. Deck was fairly embarrassing. Just got dumpstered by Yorion. Disagree, Zach Fair. That's why I have 4 of them in my deck. I think you're right that giving them an extra land isn't ideal, but I also think that dying to their creatures is also not ideal. As expected, kept a 2-lander, missed our 3rd land on 3. I don't understand, chat. Magic Twitter assured me that companions removed all variants from Magic. How can I possibly be stumbling and dying? I was assured that every game of Magic is now the same. It's because we don't have a companion. Alright, fair. Harsh, but fair. Needed to drink the Kool-Aid first. It's probably helpful. Uro's our companion, something like that. Hopefully they get greedy here and play Luris. That would be great. It'll be really bad too, though, so I'm kind of not expecting them to do it. Alright, well. That makes sense. Oh, I guess this is awkward because I'm fetching a non-island here, so now I can't escape Uro or cast Narset. Bite is one is very good. This is one of the reasons why the Jeskai Luris deck felt really powerful. This card's been super impressive. No, Wargy. Bite one is very good in Feather. Definitely have that in the Naya Feather deck on my website. So dead to double flare here, but basically never not dead to double flare. I guess I keep that. Feather's not really a deck yet. Feather's not really a deck in Standard. I don't know. And like, again, I feel like this is the tough part about Standard. Like when I was kind of disillusioned with Standard at the end of last season, it was because the only competitive aggro decks were like Embercleave combo decks. So like now we're on to a different combo deck. Like decks that are supposed to traditionally be good against aggro just like can't be anymore. I don't really want to play Yorion. I'm going to try 1 or 2 more matches, and then we're probably going to move on to Jeskai Luris. Adding Yorion doesn't fix what we just died to, so I'm not going to bother. Don't really have a strong desire to play with it. Man, where are all the Yorion decks at? I'd like to try and see if we're hopeless against that or not. Got our black source here, so we can erasure on 2. Wild. I guess I'll take this, and then we'll neutralize. There, Tiamat calls the dead next turn. What seems to be the most popular Yorion deck now. The, what's it called? The Luca Jeskai Yorion deck did put up a lot of results at the Magic Fest Online this past weekend. With Jeskai Luca. For the people that haven't seen that, it utilizes Luca with tokens to double Agent of Treachery you on turn 5. So, like, play Fires on 4. On turn 5, they'll play Luca, they'll make a token and Agent, and then they'll play Yorion, blink the Agent, and take 2 of your lands or 2 of your best permanents. Jeskai Luris and Historic. Sounds good, Wargy. Alright, well, unless they have a main deck for Rika's Libation, the Shark Typhoon should be pretty good. Grab second green in case we find an Uro down the line. Your move, Yugi boy. This is what we've got. Hey, Pipster, thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Are you surprised how well your invitationals are? You mean the open tournaments? Calling them invitationals is weird because they're open entry tournaments. No, I don't think so. I think there's been a pretty big lack of competitive events, even you know, ones that aren't super huge prizes like what we're doing on Arena in general. I think people like good Magic coverage, and I think the coverage that we're able to do makes the events more popular, even with just a pretty minimal prize pool put up by Cool Stuff Inc. How'd the humans deck turn out? It was awful as expected. So, Yorion, again, one, if you don't think the Yorion's a big deal, you're undervaluing or not properly assessing a lot of the games that you play. And two, Yorion is the type of card where just the fact that Yorion could pop up impacts how the game ends up playing out in a lot of ways. The threat of Yorion is real. Like, when your opponent plays their Conqueror's Death and you see their Yorion sitting there, they don't have to play the Yorion and blink their Conqueror's Death to make you time walk yourself because you know that could happen, so you can't play out another threat that turn. Hopefully they play out Murderous Rider here, and then we get to clean up with Ritual of Soot next turn. Ox. Yep. You got my sweeper, friend. Oh gosh. They can Ox again here? That's kind of funny. They gave them the land. I guess it's like discard 2, draw 3. So it's kind of whatever. I wonder if there's a Temur, Naya, Enchantress deck that plays Luris and Historic. Why Enchantress? What are you doing that's enchantment related? Have you played all the ultimatums yet? We've played with the good ones. The ultimatums that don't get hit by Aether Gust are great. Hey, Daniel Sand, thanks for the brand new Prime support. Welcome to Oglandia. We're filling their graveyard up to work towards this Ox. So their Ox out of hand, yep. You really need to find like a Thassa's Intervention or like an Ashiok or something here, or an Uro. Yeah, Escape Creature Varun sounds great. Getting to buff our life total by 6 here, also super busted. Again, just like everything you want to do in a Magic card. The old gain 6, draw 2, drop an extra land into play, because why not? Because why wouldn't it? That's a little unfortunate. They have enough to put it back into play here, too. Is Esper Ultimatum just a worse team or Ultimatum? I think so. No, Esper Ultimatum casts the spells, right? Brilliant Ultimatum. I played that one in Narset Cannon. So, like, cast non-creature spells. Alright, we get 2 draws, a decent card here for Uro. They'll have to chump block. If we hit anything that triggers Shark Typhoon, we should basically lock this game up. It's my favorite Magic card of all time, Spell Center Spray. The Red Bull event is over 2,100 players. Lordy. And we're done. And we're done. There's seven cards in my bin here. I'm pretty sure the Red Bull events have backing from WotC, so I'd be kind of surprised if they did non-standard. Yeah, I agree, Saban. And again, this is like we were actually talking about earlier why, like, playing random ladder matches isn't good testing, right? Like, the question in my mind isn't like, can I do well against these creature decks? I think it's obviously yes, we can. I would like to find a Yorion matchup so I can see, are my counter spells enough to play through that? My Discord have a playtesting channel? No, it has channels for different formats. Actually, is Narset good? They have Ox, right? Is this good enough? Gust is probably good for Ox and Uro. Is Narset good enough? How do you enter the Red Bull event? You join it on MTG Melee here. I don't know if I want her. They have a lot of threats in play that can just attack her down. I don't think Cry is good enough because the Bull escapes back with the +1/+1 counter. Let's try this. That's going to be an exceptionally long tournament. Yeah, it's going to be like 13 or 14 rounds of Swiss. Just an incredible number. I'll be interested to see what percentage of their 2,100 people are no-shows. Since it's a free tournament, I assume some number of people will not show up. Probably lose Ritual or Eat here. Is it a 2-day tournament, Seth? I don't actually know the format offhand. Is it Swiss based on attendance, or is it a 2-day tournament? If it's a 2-day tournament, it might not be 15 rounds day one. Or 13 rounds or whatever. He took my Heartless Act, really. Alright, well, let's find out why. He was planning to take one of those with the Duress, I guess. You played this in the open, and you died to Luris and Fires. I feel like I'd be surprised if both those matchups are bad. Like, you definitely have tools to be competitive in those matchups. Yeah, their level of removal is strange. Maybe they just don't have enough threats to bring in a post board. Maybe with Ox, they think they can grind with us, but I feel like we're definitely the control here, and they're supposed to be the beatdown. Like, especially with Ox in their deck, right? Like, they basically just, like, can't play Ox out until they play these removal spells out of their hand. Yeah, I could see Fires being hard. I'm interested to see if having more counter spells fixes that. Well, the last Red Bull tournament wasn't open entry, Malvins. I believe it had a very finite number of people that could play in it. Whereas, like, this one's just literally just like a free-for-all, basically. Like, it doesn't look like they're capping it. Or if they are capping it, I wonder what number they're capping it at. Stecco! Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. I appreciate it. Rude. Alright, cast your Eat to Extinction. Cast your Eat to Extinction on my growth spiral. Calls it is really good here because it's pretty likely to find them an escape creature. In addition to making them some threats. Well, your move, Yugi boy. Don't hit a Croxa. Don't hit a Croxa. God bless America. I needed to fade Croxa, chat. I needed them to not have Croxa. Now we're gonna die. All right, need to find a removal spell on top. If we find a way to trigger Shark Typhoon, we're in a good spot. If we don't find a way to trigger Shark Typhoon, we're going to be in a bad way. If we find a way to kill Croxa, we'll be in a super reasonable spot. Well, I mean, that actually isn't good enough, right? Because it, they bedevil the one shark that gets made, and then this attacks for 9, 11, 13. I'm actually dead exactly. Obviously should have made a 1/1 shark. Obviously should have made a 1/1 shark. I had both Ritual of Soot and Eat to Extinction in my deck, so I think it's pretty right to cycle there, leaving 4 mana up. But obviously, when we draw a 3 mana spell, we feel bad about it. Yeah, if we had made a shark, we would have drawn like a Ritual of Soot or an Eat to Extinction, and just felt real bad. Okay, halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. Take my hand. We'll make it, I swear. Do-do. Be-do-do-do-do. Be-do-do-do-do. Won't we die for the Enter Battlefield? No, because I drew a card. Now we're good, right? I unfortunately cannot. No. Oh, I misclicked. Oh, I let them get to combat. So now I'm dead. Oh, mistakes are made. Well, we're not dead, but mistakes are made. So now I'm going to 1 when they escape this. I should have Murderous Ridered it and then blocked with the token. Lordy. Yeah, should have Murderous Ridered. Cardboard Live is currently broken. It tried to update and uninstalled itself when it tried to update. I'm 1 card short of escaping this, so we need a live draw here. Well, I mean, that counts. Thanks for the 15 months, Delta. Welcome back. Live as they get. Well, if I was +3 life here, we'd be in a good spot. But I am an idiot, so we are not. Lee Sean, thanks for the 6 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, that's true too. I would have also had a 3/3 shark that would have eaten their thing, and I'd have another blocker here. It's really huge. And my mistakes really compounded here. If both of these are blanks, we're in a good spot. So, attacking there lets them escape Crocs and take my last card, but then I get 2 shots at live draws if these are blanks. Hey, Lucas. Thanks for the 13 months. You want to play in the next open? So, unfortunately, the next open is filled. We have a 256 player cap. And again, had I not punted, had I not clicked and let them attack, we'd win this game. So we're dead here because I take 3 because we drew 2 lands in a row. But had I had an extra shark here, I would have actually had 2 extra sharks over the course of that, and we'd have won that game hands down. So again, that's why when you talk about like how are the decks doing, what the record was, the details of what happened in the matches is pretty important, right? Yeah, the one on the 23rd filled yesterday or the day before. You lost because you're unlucky, right? Like, and again, it's really easy to focus on, like, I lost that game at the end there because I drew 2 lands in a row, but I wouldn't have been in a position where drawing 2 lands in a row caused me to lose had I played properly. So I played poorly, and because I played poorly, I allowed my opponent to get fortunate. The Humans deck was as unplayable as I expected it to be. It was still an uphill battle with the extra... No, it was like... Okay, I'm just timing you out because you're just like straight up wrong. Like, if I don't mess that up, I have the extra resources, my life is higher, and my Uro easily takes over that game. Croxa is much worse than Uro. I'm up points of life on top of everything else. You're just wrong. If I don't misclick, and I kill their thing, well, like, the game is not close. Real life is a bad time for humans. Why would this meta be nicer? Good point. Good point. I think I'm going to hold up Intervention here so I can counter a Calls the Dead this turn. No, I don't think that's very good, Male Branch. I think the rest of their deck and their sweepers just beat up what you're trying to do, and Agent of Treachery taking all of your lands away so you can't cast your spells while they have fires still means you lose. Don't be cute and try and play bad cards that are synergistic. Just play good cards, you'll win more matches of Magic. Yes, I would have also had a Murderous Rider in play too. Like, my mistake that last game was huge. It snowballed really hard. Land, please. Land, please. Ashiok's frustrating, but not the end of the world.
Behold, my epilogue of fear.
This is sweet. So we can poke at their hand and then kill their Ashiok. Well, less sweet. Less sweet. Still gotta do this. So I'm gonna bin Trophy here, I think, and then we'll Ritual of Soot, clear their stuff. I guess that's not even that good. Because, like, they're just gonna get to do their thing again next turn. Maybe I ditch Ritual. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna ditch Ritual. And then next turn, I'll Trophy this before it attacks. And then I'll Gust it when they escape it. And then their card will be out, their thing will be out of, their graveyard will be out of cards. So even if they're able to add something to their bin here, as long as it's not Duress or Agonizing Remorse to take my Gust, we'll Gust the Crocs on the way back up. Calls the Dead and Ashiok would both be annoying because they provide a steady flow of cards for their bin. Okay, and now, okay, so they were debating rampaging for no value to escape this, is what they were, was what their take was last turn. See if Ashiok gets a chance to shine here or not. Ooh. I have double blue, I have double green, I have double black. I guess I'll get an extra black because I have Murderous Rider in my deck. So eventually having 4 black could be useful so we can go Swift and something plus play Murderous Rider in the same turn. Did I do deck bumps last night? No, I definitely forgot. Definitely just missed it. Someone else has to. That's an Ox. The 3-mana Ashiok be good for this deck somewhere in the board. Alright, name me a real deck where you think 3-mana Ashiok is useful in this format. Like, I know 3-mana Ashiok would be good against, like, what this opponent is currently playing, but, like, what's a deck, which of the decks that sees play in the format would Ashiok be good against? Cycling. Okay, that's a good one. That's actually very good against cycling, right? Like, we were talking earlier, like, that adding Yorion doesn't fix the cycling problem. Adding Ashiok might fix the cycling problem. Yeah, it turns off their nuclear launch. I like that. It's a good suggestion. This is why the details matter. This is why just saying, like, Ashiok question mark isn't useful, but having a conversation about it is. Don't be lazy, chat. Don't be lazy. I believe in you. Yeah, Luca doesn't search. It just does nothing against Luca. Alright, so Ox is dead, but this is only their 4th card in their bin. This will be the 5th card, and this needs 8 others, so it's not coming back just yet. Being lazy is very easy. You're not wrong. How bad is Black-Green Elves in Modern? I mean, it's still as unplayable as the day Modern Horizons was printed. Like, the deck hasn't gotten better since then. If that's your question. Yeah, we have Narsets. We have 3 Narsets in our 75. Ashiok's kind of cute because she can mill us, or Ashiok can mill us into what's it called? Mills us into Uro, which is one of our win conditions. This is card number 7. So they need 2 more cards in their bin for Ox to come back here. So remember, they need 8 others. So they need 9 total. Okay, they need 1 more card in their bin. What's our best draw in our deck? Like, Uro into land, cast Uro is probably it. We're through one of those already. They have a removal spell or something here that's going to let them Ox. That's brutal. Need Shark to get ahead. No, Shark's not individually powerful at all. I think Uro's exactly what we want. Although now any removal spell would be good. Depending on how good these other 3 cards they have are. Feels bad that, like, we're probably going to lose this really close game after I punted. After I misclicked my way out of the second game. If we hadn't misclicked, I think we wouldn't even be playing a 3rd game here. Yeah, and, like, Ashiok here means we're just locked out with Uro. Feels bad. Let's put some Ashioks in our sideboard. I don't know that I want him in the main deck, but Ashiok in the 75 sounds good. That match was super winnable. Ashiok seems great against the cycling deck. Maybe I don't need 6 or 7 sweepers. Let's just do that. Yeah, I'm not gonna try Yorion. You could try Yorion if you want to play this off stream. I've been playing for an hour 15 already. Hopefully we can hit Yorion. I would really like to play a Yorion matchup just so we could see how that feels. Yep, no Yorion again. And again, just playing random ladder matches, not good testing. I had one thing I wanted to find out in the 4 or 5 matches we played with this deck, and just 4 matches in, it doesn't look like we're gonna get to find that out. If you're looking to test for something like a Magic Fest or the Hoots tournament, you definitely want to play with other people so you can guaranteed play the matches. We could concede till we hit Yorion. I'm gonna try that a couple of times, actually. Screw it. We're at the bottom. We're at the rank floor, right? Oh no, they were Yorian and just taking forever. What a tilter. What a tilter. We were just sitting there. That's hilarious. Damn it, Arena. It just didn't show us the companion because they hadn't agreed to play yet. All right, we'll wait till they choose to play before we concede if they're not Yorian. All right, Yorian. There we go. You love to see it. Discord's already saying you're playing the wrong version of Mardu Heroes. Well, unless Mardu Humans top 8's the Magic Fest or some other major tournament, I'm not accepting more versions of it. I think I'm at the point this standard season where I'm not accepting new standard decks for the queue unless they've done well in a major tournament. There's just been too many flaming piles. Hopefully we don't see double fires here. Agent, gross. Alright, we'll take that one. That's impressive since we're only 3 weeks in. You're not wrong. Do you ever consider having a direct challenge with people in chat if you want to hit one specific deck? Nah, I'm not usually really testing. Like I said, I'm not really looking to test for events. Like even the thing for later this month where I'm going to play the Just Kyluris deck, it's mostly just for fun. There's only prizes that are meaningful if I go 10-1, so the chances of getting meaningful prizes are almost 0. These past 3 weeks have been a year long. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Alright, we've got our Neutralizes and our main deck Disdainful Stroke here at top of a discard spell, so if we can win this matchup, it probably has a start that looks like this, huh? Dear opponent, please don't main deck counterspell me. Alright, land please. I think I'm supposed to bottom at digging for a land. Leave a black source available here, I think. Well, maybe I'm supposed to leave blue. So that way, if I hit an untapped land there, I could have held up Neutralize this turn. There's fear in their dojo. They are scared of the counterspell, chat. We'll see if they respect game 1 Disdainful Stroke. They might not. They also might just be like waiting to play this so they get some value out of it. Oh. Hey, Platinum's RPG. Thanks for the 9 months. I appreciate the 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. Alright, don't agent me. Don't agent me, please.
The shadows awaken.
Just an Omnath deal. Just Omnath into agent. This fucking format, man. Alright, that card's probably not playable. Got it. We're gonna cut 5 mana Ashiok. Got it. Cannot tap out for that ever. Check. It wasn't an age of treachery. Technically got what we asked for. Alright, let's try this. No. Key cards like a Boreal Grazer and Disdainful Stroke continue to not have borderless options on Magic Arena years after they are available. It's really embarrassing. Yeah, I'm interested to see Asco. I think I'm with you. Like, we have a mix of counter spells and discard spells, and then we have Uro as like an okay clock. So like, if anything can do it, it's probably that mix of things. But even that, probably not enough. We'll see though. We shall see. If they don't give us something to counterspell this turn, I'm probably just going to like Thassa's Intervention draw 2 here. Probably from the list entirely. If it's not good in a matchup like this, we don't want it in general. Yorion doesn't really add anything of value to this deck. If you want to play Yorion, just play the Luca deck. Okay. We have a couple of Ritual of Soots in our deck that can clean this board out at some point. I'm going to take the Cavalier here. Because this is more expensive for them to resolve. No, I'm not making extra trips to the mail to mail anything out, Lamacopter. Yeah, if Veil of Summer was in this format, I wouldn't even be attempting to try and play a control deck. Veil of Summer is not legal, so maybe we have a glimmer of hope. I don't know, this doesn't... I don't feel like... I don't feel like I'm... It doesn't feel unwinnable from this current position. Like, it feels like I know last game we got punked out because we tapped out for Ashiok. I think that's more of a, I'm gonna cut Ashiok from my 75 more than this deck is unplayable, if that makes sense. Oko could stop these piles of greed. Does he? Or does, like, do they just, like, play Oko? I'm pretty sure they just play Oko. Be able to scry one instead of draw one would have been fine. Yes. It's like Field. Someone asked me the other day if I think Field of the Dead would fix this format. I don't think it would. Decks like what this opponent is playing would just play Field of the Dead. Yeah, like, this doesn't, like, if I cut these clunky Ashioks, this genuinely doesn't feel unwinnable. Like, between my Uros and these Thought Erasures and all these counterspells, like, the mix of counterspells and discard feels super reasonable here. Yeah, we basically have to find Uro, which could mean, like, maybe we just want some Ashioks in the 3-mana Ashioks in our main deck to find Uro consistently, right? Like, maybe that's the answer. Temur Clover. I'd be surprised if it's better than just playing the Luca deck. Like, it's probably competitive. I'd believe you'll win games of Magic, but I'd be surprised from a raw power level if it's better than just, like, doing what the Luca deck is doing. Yeah, that's true too. Uro being a key piece also means, like, Yorian's less exciting to try and play if you wanted to jam that into here for whatever reason. And again, like, we see that this is a squeeze we've seen a couple of times in the games we've been playing today. We've seen opponents leave key cards in their hand trying to play around counterspells that we have, but at the same time, if we draw a discard spell, we get to punish that, right? Yeah, there was one Temur Adventures deck and there were a bunch of Luca decks, right? And playing out exactly what we talked about here. They kept their card, we hit a discard spell, and now we still have this counter spell for later. I agree that if you were looking to change the format or fix it, having aggro decks have better tools would be how you would want to go about doing it. This deck punishes ghosting pretty hard, yep. Good, like, damned if they do, damned if they don't situation. Like, they decided to play around my Disdainful Stroke that I was representing. We hit the discard spell, we punish them. Yeah, the Neutralize is here. I think I'm actually just gonna cut the Ashioks, and I'm gonna put 4th Neutralize, 4th Shark Typhoon in. So, like, I'm keeping a similar number of threats by adding a Shark Typhoon, but I'm going up on hard counters that are good here. I'm gonna hold on to this Eat to Extinction for when they eventually draw an Uro. Yeah, they can't race Uro, right? They can't race Uro, and they can't draw enough spells to play through my disruption because Uro is giving me so many cards. Okay, that is very good. I do not have a good answer to that at the moment. We're gonna need to play through these cards with Uro. I'm probably gonna be spending some mana to draw with Black Castle this turn now. Anyway, we might still be okay here. This game is just close now. Where's our World Denial, right? If anything, because they're on Krasis, I might want Narsets in my deck. I think I left them in my sideboard. I might adjust that for the next game. Pause there with 1 blue up implies they have Mystic Dispute in their hand. It's a good thing to note. I have enough lands that shouldn't be a problem at this point, but we'll see. Alright, let's find out. Thanks for the heads up, Magic Arena. I appreciate you. So I'm going to pay 3 for this. And then I'll decline paying 3 for the next one. So I don't really need to, surveil. Tamiyo's an interesting thought. I don't hate Tamiyo. So part of the problem with Tamiyo, and this is why Tamiyo could be sketchy, is that you'll notice I'm at 23 cards in my deck right now. Like, Tamiyo decking us could be a real concern. He next doesn't want to have Fan. Thanks for the third of a year. Welcome back. All right, so I think I want these Narsets. Maybe they're just better than Ashiok. Narset kind of stops their Uros in a way. I like Soot better if they're on Hydrate Crisis as well. What am I trimming here now, though? I need 2 cuts. Is it crazy to trim Shark Typhoon? It's going down to like just Uro on a win condition too loose. I'm gonna trim 1. Trim a trophy. Yeah, that's true too. Tamiyo's better if you just have a bunch of 4-ofs. Sure, this hand's great. Needs to draw some land, but we have a Surveil here. We also have, like, redraw, potentially. If we ideally, we don't want to be redrawing with this, but in a pinch, it'll do. ZJ, thanks for the 5 months. I don't know, chat. I know I'm a salty monster sometimes, but I feel like there's might be something here. This, hopefully... I probably should stop playing this before I talk myself into playing it in the qualifier. I do really like playing decks like this. So you'll note that I elected to Agonizing Remorse this turn as opposed to Thought Erasure because I didn't want my Thought Erasure to get Mystic Disputed. Also, with that in mind, would I rather have 4 Remorse and 2... I'd probably want to split these the other way, huh? You think I want to split those the other way? Does that make sense? Yeah, the other choice is the Jeskai deck, Maddie. I'm either playing like something like this or the Jeskai deck. You'd play Jeskai and eat lunch? Great, that fills the bin up for Uro. 6 cards in there. Do I Ritual before I Uro? Just get that out of my hand? Or do I not care about these Leafkins? The Leafkins let them Agent of Treachery me, and they let them play their other cards, so yeah, probably want to do this. The Ultimatum or whatever it's called. Bigger Graces also, yeah, good call. So I think when they inevitably creases us here, we neutralize it, and then we Thought Erasure plus Uro the following turn. Just need to get Uro into play and start generating that card advantage with it. Just like hope to fade for a draw step. Just a Boreal Gracer, yep. Shark Typhoon is actually perfect, right? They don't have 7 mana, right? So I just attempt to fade here. I think with no 7 mana, I just do this. I think if they had 7 mana, I'd wait. But I think without 7 mana up, we just jam. And maybe I'm supposed to leave the temple there if I'm going to jam Uro this turn, get my 7th land. Yeah, I think if I'm planning to Uro there, I'm supposed to leave the temple on top. Yeah, I agree, Zach. You were probably typing that before I started talking. Alright, and again, it feels like, this feels like getting into can't lose territory, right? Is this deck playable? What are the odds this deck is playable? It feels real, chat. I'm not sad. I was expecting to be much sadder by this point. By this point in this set, I was expecting to be very, very sad. And I've not been nearly as sad as I was expecting to be. Yeah, I think I let that happen. Alright, so if I find an untapped land here... Ooh, Stroke is good though too. So I can Shark Typhoon as an enchantment and still hold up Gust/Stroke. We've not played against Teferi yet. We've not hit Yorion. Just Guy Fires. Oh wait, I already have 9, right? I already have 9. Perfect. McNux, thanks for the 14 months. Welcome back. This deck casts a surprising number of 6-mana Shark Typhoons. Cast a lot of 6-mana Shark Typhoons.
I train and I am just the trick for this.
I think we hold that to cycle. I think I'm gonna cut the stupid 5-mana Ashioks from the main and do one more after this one. Nice 7-mana card. Yeah, we're going up to 4 tornadoes. So... changes. This is bad. I want another Neutralize, another Shark Typhoon. I want more Agonizing Remorse, less Thought Erasure. If I'm going up to 4 Neutralize, what if I just play 8 discard spells? Is that crazy? What if I put the 4 strokes on the board and just, like, play another one of these? Just, like, always have the discard spell on 2? Moist William, thanks for the brand new Prime support. Welcome to Hoaglandia. What do we think of this main deck? Thoughts, comments, concerns. Mana base in this deck is great. Not touching that. This looks like almost like an adult made it. No, I don't think we need to rebalance the colors. I think the mana base is fine. I think about the sideboard. Is 4 trophies too many? 4 trophies too many. I don't think I want Yorion. Like, I get that he's another win condition, but getting to Uro seems pretty important. Why is Ritual of Soot better than the even on Wrath? That's actually true. That's a good question. Actually, someone on Twitter had mentioned that, and actually I meant to think about it. Do we prefer this to Ritual of Soot? I think there's a chance this might be better, huh? Exiling stuff is really good. This can exile Cavaliers too. I think I'm into that. Ritual is better against cycling. Ritual is definitely better against cycling. Yeah, Ritual's been playable. For sure, Ritual's been playable. Ritual's much better against the elemental decks. I don't think black is really a problem to cast, right? I've got 3, 4... It's 4, 8, 11, 15. I've got 18 black sources. Yeah, we played Mardu, a Mardu deck earlier, and the Extinction Event was actually really good in the Mardu deck. I have a third Narset here. Event might be better than Eat. Yeah, I could see that. If I cut the Eats, though, I don't really have good ways to deal with planeswalkers or big creatures. Like, I don't have a ton of spot removal in my deck. Is Heartless Act actually playable? Is this a playable Magic card if the cycling deck is the deck in the format to beat? What do we think of this? Where'd my E2 extinctions go? What if I did this? So the problem with Rider is that Rider, you can't find Rider with Narset is the issue. Narset doesn't find Rider. Shark Typhoon's like technically a 2-drop. Do you have a written out deck list for YouTube videos using your website? As I can't see the entire mana base. Literally every YouTube video has a link to the Stream Decker and a text deck list to import in the YouTube video description. Every single video. every video. All right, let's try this. If you're someone who's been copying my decks from crappy low resolution pictures on YouTube and my Twitter, boy, have you been doing way too much work. Work smarter, not harder, chat. Work smarter, not harder. We just pushed our curve down. Can we afford to trim a line? You know what I feel? You know how I feel about that? Take a 10-minute break and think about what you just said. Take a 10-minute break and think about suggesting cutting a land from my control deck. You know what you did. Yorion, cue it up. This hand's actually pretty bad against Yorion. No joke. I don't hate adding a 28th land. I think playing a second castle and a 28th land could be reasonable. Okay, I think I'm cycling Neutralize here to try and hit blue for Narset. There's a 100% chance you flood out this match. Oh, definitely. That is definitely accurate.
Past, present, and future are bound by threads with thoughtfulness before action.
Am I trophying Narset? I feel like the answer might be yes.
I won't forget our time together.
This is good. Let's see how hopeless this feels. Our hand here is not good. I think I should have mulliganed seeing Yorion. Like, Trophy and Eat are not great here. Love ramping them to ECD. Right, well, I mean, I'm not going to put anything into play for them to exile next turn. I'm just going to go, like, land Uro second land. Here's my best piece of deck building advice ever for you, Twitch chat. However many lands you think your deck wants to play, add 2. Whatever, when you eyeball your curve and you think in your head what a good number of lands to play is, you're probably too few. Add some cycling lands, add some castles, like, play more lands. Utility lands are busted, chat. Busted. Go. If I add lands, I can't play all my sweet cards, right? The cycle lands especially, like, Triomes are a gift, chat. Triomes are a gift. Appreciate the gift, chat. Instructions unclear. I have 60 lands and no spells. Good. Sounds like you'll never stumble and die. Hope you appreciate me. It's an agonizing remorse here, huh?
I know 88 will keep an open mind.
I have been betrayed.
No secret agent this turn. We're good. We're cool. We're cool, chat. We're cool. I'm glad they have Lucas. I want to play against this. I want to see if this feels helpless or if we have the tools to be competitive here. If a 60 card deck needs 26 lands, look at whatever 26 out of... Okay, yeah, that was not something I was thinking about. That's pretty good. And they found Luca here. Yep. Alright, that could have gone better.
Such violence is upsetting.
All of our options feel like they suck, chat. I don't even know if this is good, right? Because, like, they get to end step, omen, untap, Luca something, and then like they get to end step Omen, untap Luca something, and then I can kill it, but then they get to Luca something again next turn. Yeah, we can remove tokens in response to the minus, but like this card comes in with enough loyalty to minus twice is the issue. And then like the other part that makes the opponent's archetype so good is that in addition to keeping us on our toes, like dancing around not getting Agent of Treachery for 5 mana, they're also just like beating us down with these tokens is a big deal. Like we have to not die to these tokens, we have to not die to Yorion. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then they get to Yorion reset the Luca.
They call me a piranha because they fear my strength.
Yeah, I think we're just dead here. I can be like not dead this turn, but I'm like gonna lose the rest of it here. Once they get their board going. And this could be a reason, like I was talking about, you know, ways to attack this matchup, and I said, well, if we can make sure they don't resolve their spells, we could be in an okay spot. And there's a chance that, like, that's just not good enough because of their ability to make tokens and pressure us with those tokens, right? Feel like there's a real chance the tokens make our ability to counter their big plays not good enough because they'll just chip away at us, like nickel and dime us out of the game. Narset actually seems not good enough here because she just gets attacked down by all their tokens. I'll even like an Extinction Event here. Actually, leaving in both Extinction Events and clean up tokens actually seems fine. Yeah, it is sad that Ashiok doesn't stop Luca. You think we can outlast the tokens with Uro? Yeah, in some situations that's probably true. Well, the format's not moving towards more Grafdigger's Cages because Grafdigger's Cage impacts a lot of the best cards of the format, right? So, like, for example, look at my deck. I can't play Grafdigger's Cage because I'm trying to win the game with Uro, right? So, like, while Grafdigger's Cage shuts down their Luca combo, it, like, also turns off my win con. Yes, Teferi also makes Cage look silly. They just, like, bounce it with that. It's, like, not a big deal. And where are you gonna hit Lucas? Sure, but like, look at that last game. Think about what I said about that last game. How even though we could deal with the Luca, we were still gonna lose, right? Like, Unmoored Ego and whatever, we still lose to like Yorion's and Conqueror's Deaths and like all these other pieces that come together. And not to mention, if you take away Luca can still just grind you out by drawing. I guess they only have agents, so if you take their agents, Luca does nothing. You just have to beat the tokens of the big bird then. I don't know if that's doable. I don't know. Also, like, leaning on Ego is, like, feels awkward. Because I'm like, you don't have a game plan in the games where you don't see Ego early. Like, if you don't see Ego early or if it gets countered, your deck just doesn't do anything, basically. Yeah, it's just never a reliable plan. Yeah, exactly. And like, I agree. Post-board, they're 100% going to have, what's it called, then against us? Mystic Dispute. Alright, I'm gonna give you a 10-minute timeout to read Blast Zone, since you suggested that for killing their tokens. You gotta run Soul Diviner. I mean, we've done that, right? That's definitely a thing we've done. You know, chat, thinking on the counter spells are good plan. Are we supposed to play Frilled Mystic in this deck?
This was overwhelming.
Is that something I'm supposed to consider? I don't want to be like a full flash deck, but I mean, like, we could just play some amount of Frilled Mystic, right? Like, I'm just, like, thinking about, like, what is the Shark Typhoon doing? I think the mana is too hard. All right, listen, you're new here, so I'm going to give you a heads up. Never answer a question that you can answer with numerical analysis with your feelings. So don't say, I think the mana is too hard. It's never acceptable. Give me statistical analysis of my mana base telling me why it doesn't work. That is what I would ask for you to do. We're literally already escaping Uro, and 2, every land except for exactly these 2 swamps in my 27 land deck. I have 25 lands that cast Frilled Mystic. That's a Mystic Dispute, huh? Is it crazy to, like, take their Mystic Dispute here and just, like, make them cast expensive spells they can't protect? I think that's my plan. I don't know if it's a good one, but it's what I've got. Oh, I've got a castle too. Sorry, 24 lands. You're right. I have 1 black castle. I believe I have 16 or 17 green and blue sources, which is in range of casting that. This is fine.
I train every day. No one is more prepared than me.
I think the actual answer is this matchup's bad, and I'm probably going to give up on this deck after this match. Just like looking at the cards in their hand chat, it's just like, I'm beat, I'm done, can't do it. I'm broken, chat. I'm broken. You want to aggro some people after this? I think I'm looking forward to aggroing some people after this. I would like to attack. It's good. Alright, I guess we take the agent, because we definitely can't beat that. I mean, if I knew the answer to that question, I'd play it, Herbivores. Genuinely would be surprised if the opponent's archetype had bad matchups. Would be genuinely surprised if their deck had bad matchups. Alright, yeah, I'm off of this. I think I'm gonna throw a note up on the standard deck page of my website. That this format's just not kind to things that are off the beaten path. I don't know, you could probably work on this and do different things with it. And like I said, you know, Magic's a game with a lot of variance in it, so you can play a lot of different things in it. But I think if you want to play things that are off the beaten path, this is probably not a good format for doing that in. Teamer Clovers is favored against the Orion deck. Yeah, maybe in some random long games it is. That archetype's good against Elspeth Conquers Death, but like the Luca deck's also just basically a combo deck, chat. So like even decks that are good against Luca are gonna randomly get punked out in some number of the games, right? Sometimes they're literally just gonna double Agent of Treachery you on turn 5 and you're just gonna die. People are talking about the Growlfire's deck. Every time people bring up the Growlfire's deck, I don't understand how it wins games of Magic. Every time we play against that deck, it looks like a mopey dumpster fire. More power to you if that's your GM, but that deck is not impressive. Alright, I'm gonna hit a quick ad roll and get everything flipped over. We're gonna spend a little bit of time attacking with creatures. I would like to attack people. Back in just a few. This is my last hope, chat. It's the last hope. It's the perfect deck. The perfect pet. BRB.